Well, hello everyone. How are you doing today? Welcome to Take Your Education Beyond the Basics. Today we are on class number 7 of 8, and my name is Charla Snow. I am grateful to be with you today to talk about a really fun topic, which is the AromaTouch technique. Again, class number 7 of 8. If you've missed some of these previous classes, don't worry, they're going to repeat, or you can catch the recordings of them. But today we're really going to dive into focusing on the AromaTouch technique. And specifically, we're going to talk about why and how the AromaTouch has such a powerful effect on health and well-being, and how it balances the body so that the body can function optimally. So we're going to spend a lot of time today talking about the impact of stress and how AromaTouch helps to balance the body and get the body out of that state of stress. We're going to also do a brief overview of the technique, and then at the end I'm going to give you some resources so that you can continue to learn more about the AromaTouch, and possibly, if you're interested, even become certified in the AromaTouch technique. So, welcome to class number 7, the AromaTouch technique. So you've probably heard a little bit already about the AromaTouch technique. What is it? So the AromaTouch technique is an essential oil application that was developed by Dr. David Cahill, and he did it because there was a demand for a simple but effective way for everyone, for beginners and experts alike, to be able to apply the oils and get results. Okay? Pretty straightforward. And the experiences that people are having with the AromaTouch technique are truly amazing. So whatever health challenge you might be dealing with right now, whether that's a physical one or an emotional one, I just invite you to consider incorporating the AromaTouch technique and using it as an add-on, as a supplement to whatever your current wellness or healing protocol is, okay? And I'm grateful that you're here to learn more about it. So what I love about the AromaTouch technique is that it helps more people approach their symptomology without trepidation. You know, so often we, especially in the beginning of using essential oils, we feel overwhelmed by options. Which oil should I use? There's so many choices. What should I do? How often? As a new oil user, it's not uncommon to feel like I don't know enough, or that I'm not doing it right, or that I'm doubting myself or not getting results because maybe I'm doing something wrong. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to doubt the power of Mother Nature, because the oils are so powerful. They are so effective. And what the AromaTouch gives us is it gives us this formula for success. It gives us this step-by-step way of using the oils to get results every time. And it takes away that fear of how to use the oils, because it's a system, it's a formula, it's like a recipe that we follow. And the results that we get when we use it are that, number one, we affect every body system. Every body system, we talked about body systems last week, every body system is affected, supported. Okay. The second huge, probably the number one benefit, is the nervous system is brought back into balance. It's brought into homeostasis. I'm going to spend about half of our call today talking just about that. And as a side effect of that, stress is greatly reduced. So just the stress factor alone is such a huge benefit of the AromaTouch technique, because stress is a factor in like 5 out of 6 leading causes of death, like heart disease and cancer and stroke and accidents. And it's estimated that I think 75 to 90% of all doctor visits are because of stress-related issues. So the AromaTouch technique has the potential to help with all of that, to help with stress, to help with the nervous system, to help with supporting the body systems. But what I know, you guys, is I know that the AromaTouch works. And what I love is that I don't need to predetermine how it's going to work or what exactly it's going to do, because the AromaTouch, you guys, it's adaptive. And what that means is that it's going to do what the body needs it to do. Whatever it is that's in need of happening, it's going to self-select, and it's going to do what the body needs. It's interesting and that it's actually being used. The AromaTouch technique is being used in some long-term care facilities by volunteers. It's also being used in starting to be introduced into hospitals in Asia, where they're starting to incorporate the AromaTouch into patient care. So it has a clinical application. Absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But what I love is that it doesn't just have to be for the doctor or the chiropractor or the nurse or the health professional. It's really simple. In fact, it's so simple that it sometimes falls under some criticism because it's so simple. And sometimes people look at it and they go, that's too easy. I'm going to try to make it better. I'm going to try to change it. I'm going to try to add other oils to it or customize it to my needs. But you guys, don't do that. It's the simplicity that makes it work. It's the simplicity that gives it's the beauty of AromaTouch. So keep it simple, keep it correct, learn it correctly, and then follow it step by step and don't change it. I love what Dr. Hill says, and I've got a fun story to share with you that relates to this, but he said the AromaTouch technique was developed to maximize the health benefits of essential oils. Its powerful benefits can be effectively delivered equally by both the novice essential oil enthusiast and the professional health practitioner. Okay, so this is for you. No matter who you are, whether you're a beginner or whether you're an existing health practitioner, this technique is for you. So fun story, my daughter is now 15 and I've been teaching the AromaTouch technique for about 7 years, probably. I am a certified instructor of the technique, which means I've trained with Dr. Hill and I've done a lot of hours and taught a lot of people how to do the AromaTouch. So I've been a trainer training on the technique. And so my daughter had seen me and come to a lot of my workshops and actually sat in the front row with her little notepad and taken notes and wanted to really learn how to do it. And she was at the time probably 9. I want to say, when she used to come to a lot of my classes. And one day I came home and she had set up my massage table in my room, which is really heavy for a 9-year-old to do. She had cut up some apples and had some water and some music and dimmed the lights in my bedroom. And she said, you know, Mommy, I always see you helping other people and teaching other people, but nobody ever gives you an AromaTouch technique. And I want to give you a massage. I want to give you an AromaTouch. And so she took out her sweet little notebook with all of her notes and she lined up the 8 oils that you use in the AromaTouch technique. And she applied each one of them to my spine and to the bottoms of my feet, often glancing down below the face mask of the massage table to see how I was doing and how I was receiving it. And you know what, you guys, I have to tell you, it was completely imperfect. Completely technique-wise was not fantastic. But I tell you what, that was probably the most powerful AromaTouch I have ever got in my life, I've ever received. And it was partly probably because of her sweet intention and part because the oils are powerful. And the oils, regardless of how talented you are or how skilled you are or whether you're a professional massage therapist, does not matter. It's the oils are doing the heavy hitting. Yes, the technique is important and I encourage you to learn the technique properly. But this is a technique that can be used by everyone, by the beginner, by the 9-year-old, and by the health professional as well. All right, so let's get into why we want to use the AromaTouch technique. So like I said, I want to spend about half of our time today talking about the benefits to the nervous system. And I want to get into talking about what the central nervous system is. I want to talk a little bit about the science of the different branches of the autonomic nervous system. And the reason why I want to invest so much time in talking about this before we get into the technique is because I believe this is the most powerful aspect of the AromaTouch technique. And I want you to really grasp how this technique can benefit you and to benefit your family. So we're going to dive into the nervous system. The nervous system, the central nervous system, plays an important role, like a hugely important role in our health and in our behavior. So we have this central nervous system that's controlled by our conscious mind. So just for fun, just pretend like we're playing a game of Simon Says, and I say, Simon Says, stand up. And you could choose whether or not you wanted to stand up or wave your arms or stomp your feet. These are things that you control. So they're under the control of your central nervous system. But if I say, slow your heart rate down to 40 beats per minute or increase your heart rate to 100 beats per minute, would you be able to do that? And the answer is no, probably not, because that is under the control of the autonomic nervous system, represented here on your screen as ANS, autonomic nervous system. And that part is controlled by your subconscious. So the autonomic nervous system, again, that subconscious part, is divided into two branches, and that's what we're going to focus heavily on are those two branches. So the sympathetic nervous system is one, and the parasympathetic nervous system is the other. And you're going to hear me call them the SNS or the PNS for the rest of our call today. So again, SNS is the sympathetic nervous system, and you may have heard this called the fight, flight, or freeze. Okay. And then there's the parasympathetic nervous system, which is also referred to as the rest, digest, and repair state. All right. Now, here's why and how. Here's the concept that everything I'm going to discuss today is really based on. A lot of people are stuck in SNS dominance. So they live almost entirely from that space. They're stuck here in sympathetic nervous system dominance. And the hormone that is driving this is adrenaline. So why are we stuck here? So there's two primary reasons why we are stuck in SNS dominance. The first is caffeine. So caffeine leads our adrenal glands to produce adrenaline. We're going to talk more about adrenaline, and we have a couple stress hormones. We're going to talk about both of those. So it leads our body to produce adrenaline, and adrenaline drives us into SNS dominance. So what it's doing is it's communicating to every cell in our body that our life is literally in danger. Just the same as if you were in the ocean and you saw a dorsal fin rounding up out of the water and coming towards you. In that situation, of course, adrenaline would be pumping through your veins as your life was actually in danger, in order to help fuel you and to give your body the fuel that it needed to try to escape and get you back to safety. But you know what? In our modern times, in today's day, it's actually not a shark. We're just drinking a lot of caffeinated beverages, and so our body doesn't realize that this is actually not a life-threatening situation. Or that our stress now is more psychological rather than actually physical. So what caffeine is doing is it's pushing us into that SNS, sympathetic nervous system dominant state, communicating with our body, danger, danger, there's a threat, just as though we're a shark. Okay. So another factor that leads us into SNS dominance is perception of pressure or stress. So let me say that again. It's our perception of pressure. And pressure or stress really is a perceived thing. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, no, I think you don't know my life. It really is. It's not a perception. It really is stress. Well, it's interesting, isn't it, how one person can say, oh my gosh, you would not believe the day I've had. It's been so stressful. It's so hard. And as they describe their day to another person, the other person's thinking, wow, that sounds like a walk in the park compared to my day, right? Because it really is our perception, which is clearly based on our life's experiences. And with that perception comes, guess what? More stress hormones, specifically adrenaline. And that is going to push us back into that SNS dominant state, sympathetic nervous system dominant state. And the one thing I want you to remember with adrenaline is that it is our short-term stress hormone. Short-term. We're going to talk about which one is the long-term stress hormone in just a minute, but adrenaline is the short-term stress hormone that drives us into that dominant SNS state. So it wasn't that, Many believe that in the past, not too long ago, we actually lived more from a state of parasympathetic nervous system dominance. So as we'll talk about later, we're never really in one completely or the other. It fluctuates, but we can tend to be more imbalanced in one or the other, in one state or the other. So it wasn't that long ago that we were more in a state of PNS, parasympathetic dominant state, and then only come into that SNS dominance when we needed to get out of real danger. But now many of us are living our day-to-day lives in that SNS dominance all the time, so that we actually have to literally schedule any activities that help move us into that parasympathetic nervous system state and allow that to be dominant just for a little bit. And so why is this a problem? Okay, you guys, I want to spend a good amount of time talking about why this is a problem so that you can see how AromaTouch and restorative practices can be so beneficial for our health. So what is the problem with this? One symptom of SNS dominance is poor sleep. So someone with SNS dominance will typically have poor sleep patterns where sleep is not restorative and you don't wake up with energy or wake up feeling rested. So when you think about that, it actually makes sense, because if you have adrenaline rushing through your veins, telling every cell in your body, your life is in danger, do you think your body is going to think it's actually safe to sleep deeply? Probably not, right? So your body is keeping you awake ever so slightly, imperceivably probably, where you're not able to get deeply into that sleep because of this unknown stress or danger that could be coming. So, of course, there's other reasons why people may not be sleeping deeply, but this is definitely a big one because of this being in this SNS dominant state. Okay, another huge one, and I'm going to talk about this, even though this isn't necessarily a weight management class tonight, it so relates to what we're talking about, because another symptom of being in SNS dominance is weight gain or difficulty losing weight. So at any given time, your body is choosing which fuel to use. It can either be choosing glucose or fat or both, okay? So a lot of people say, well, what about protein? Well, our body can't use protein or amino acids as fuel because they first have to be converted into glucose that can be used for fuel. So glucose and fat are your only options for your body to use as fuel. Well, guess what? When we're in a state of SNS dominance, we are in a get out of danger mode. And so we need a fast burning fuel. So think about that shark in the ocean again. Which fuel, fat or glucose, is the one that's going to power us to run or swim away quickly or to get out of danger? Which fuel do you think is the fast burning fuel? It's glucose, because that's what's going to let us get into that fight or flight and get away very quickly. So think about it like a fire. Think about it like a campfire fire. If you were to pour gasoline on that fire, what would happen? The fire would burn really quick, have a lot of light, a lot of heat, and then burn out really quick. But what if you could slow it down, spray a little water on it, make it burn a little longer? This is a good analogy to think about when we think about these two fuel sources. Glucose is the gasoline. It burns fast and hard, but the fat would give us actually a more prolonged, slower, even burn, even energy, and even mood. So which one do you think you want to try to, we're always going to be using both, right? But which one do we want to use a little bit more? We want to use a little bit more fat, especially if we're wanting to lose weight, or if we're struggling to lose weight. The only way we're going to get rid of that fat is to burn it, to use it as fuel. Well, guess what? Those of us who are stuck in SNS dominance, who are primarily in a constant state of fight or flight, those people are primarily using, guess which fuel? They're using glucose. And that's not the one you want to use if you're trying to lose. So this is also putting our liver and our muscles under stress, because they're constantly releasing the stored glycogen that lives in our liver and muscles. And so because of all this, it makes it really hard for your body to access our fat storage as a fuel. Okay, so What does all that mean? It means if we're constant state of stress and in a constant state of SNS, sympathetic nervous system dominance, it's really hard to access and use the fat storage and to use fat as fuel. And so therefore, it can make it really difficult for people to lose weight or even cause us to gain weight. When I learned this, I had this huge aha moment because we're conditioned to think that it's all about calories in, calories out, calories in, counting calories, or this calorie equation, and that we need to eat less and we need to move more and eat less. And so we conditioned to believe that that's true. And yes, those are factors. Of course, they're factors. But this, being in a state of sympathetic, of SNS dominance, this is a huge factor that no one is talking about. We're just talking about calories in and calories out. So when we want to lose weight, we think we need to push harder. We need to like CrossFit and run and, all of those things are awesome, right? But sometimes we think it's counterintuitive to think that actually you need to slow down. You need to slow your life down a little bit to be able to lose weight or to be able to maintain weight or to stop gaining weight. The truth is that once we're in a state when we spend more time in parasympathetic nervous system dominance, PNS, then your body feels like, it's safe. It's safe now. I can burn fat as a fuel. All right. So yes, workout, yes, exercise. Those are awesome. Those are important things, but spend time investing into how you're going to get into that parasympathetic nervous system state so your body feels safe to be able to release weight. So you can do things like breathing exercises, yoga, and the AromaTouch technique. That's why we're talking about this today, is because you can do the AromaTouch technique to help move your body out of this state of constant SNS dominance. All right, so we've talked a lot about adrenaline. We've talked about its effects in the body. There's one more connection that I want to make right now between adrenaline, and that is between adrenaline and the digestive system. So something happens with it when we have a lot of adrenaline pumping through our veins. It actually will divert energy away from our digestive system because it needs to put it into survival mode. So remember, SNS is fight, flight, or freeze. PNS, parasympathetic nervous system, is rest, digest, and repair. So when we're in this fight or flight, we're losing out on the rest, digest, and repair. So when you think about this connection to the digestive system, it truly reminds us of how masterful our bodies are, because adrenaline is trying to save your life. It's trying to make it so that you aren't just focusing on food. If you were back in the ocean with that shark and then you're like, man, I'm sure hungry right now, that's not going to work out so well for you. And if you were focusing on, your next meal, you would be shark bait, wouldn't you? So, adrenaline is slowing down speeding you up, but slowing down your digestive system, slowing down your appetite. It's also, though, going to slow down the production of your stomach acid and your enzyme production. So that's not good, because humans that are living on adrenaline 24/7 are going to therefore have digestive systems that are compromised. And obviously our digestion is the center of our health. So we need to have good digestion. We need to produce those enzymes, and we need to be able to absorb the nutrients from the foods that we're eating so that we can be as nourished as we can be. So there really is this link between digestive dysfunction, like IBS, diarrhea, constipation, bloating, and stress, and this state of being in SNS dominance. So these can, of course, be caused by other issues too. Digestive issues can be caused by a number of other things like parasites and candida and other things, but our stress hormones are a huge factor. So we've talked a lot about adrenaline as the short-term stress hormone. Want to quickly touch on cortisol, which is the long-term stress hormone. And in the past, humans would have only made cortisol when there was a long-term stress. So back then, it would have involved floods and famines and war. And if you think about those long-term stressful situations, historically, what do you think people were encountering with in terms of food? Do you think food was abundant, or do you feel like food would have been scarce back during the times of famines and floods and wars? It would have been scarce, right? So your body isn't understanding, hey, you're in modern times now. Your stress isn't a war. Your stress isn't famine. It's not a flood. Your stress is finances and relationship and health issues and body issues or whatever. Your body doesn't understand the difference. And so whatever is keeping us in a state of constant long-term stress, it's leading our bodies to produce cortisol. Cortisol is what's communicating to your body that food is scarce. So even though food isn't scarce now, your body thinks food is scarce because you're in a constant state of long-term stress. And so to protect you during these lean times, cortisol slows down your metabolism, causes your muscles to break down, and causes your metabolism to slow down so it can fatten you up. Fatten you up because it believes it's protecting you. It believes that you'll have a better odds of surviving this famine or this long-term stress that really isn't related to starvation. So cortisol also does something interesting. It lays down fat in a really interesting pattern. It deposits fats in our stomach, primarily, the backs of our arms, and in our back fat. So cortisol is what it's doing is it's trying to thicken us up around our major vital organs so that those organs stay protected and nourished. All right. So all this long-term stress is causing our body to think you are in a long-term situation where food is scarce. Let me store up lots of fat on our bodies. So, another thought here is that this stress hormone, cortisol, is produced in your adrenal glands. And your adrenals are these cute little glands that sit up on the top of your kidneys in the back. And when you're under stress for a really long time, you move into adrenal fatigue, right? So they start to burn out. And basically, we might be feeling fat, frazzled, frumpy, but the culprit may very well be too much cortisol. And not only does cortisol burn out our adrenals, it can actually harm our hippocampus, which is important for short and long-term memories. So is our stress really going to go away? No, it probably isn't going to go away. But how we see that stress, how we perceive that stress, our mindset can change, and it can make a difference in how our body responds to it. It really does make sense for us to invest in our longevity by figuring out how we can stay or be living more in a state of PNS dominance, parasympathetic nervous system, that state of rest, digest, right, repair. How can we stay more in that state so we can decrease the production of these stress hormones? So if we were to move into more of a PNS dominant state, it would help to balance our hormones, help reduce our risk for many diseases. It would help to improve our digestion. It would help to make weight loss so much easier. It would help to improve our sleep. It would help to support our adrenals so they're not burning out, help with our memory and recall, so many things, right? And so much more. So there's a lot of things we can do to move into PNS dominance a little bit more often. Of course, meditation, breathing practices, gratitude practices, changing our mindset, changing our perspective, using essential oils to reduce cortisol levels, like clary sage, which is amazing for helping to reduce our stress hormones. Lots of things can help us to accomplish this if we will focus and make this a priority. But what I want to focus on right now for the remainder of our time together is the AromaTouch and how it supports the central nervous system, how it supports us and gets us into more of a balanced nervous system state. So we're not just drooling on ourselves, right? We're still alert and awake, but we're not living in a state of of sympathetic nervous system dominance, but moving more into enjoying more time in that parasympathetic nervous system state. I want to talk about how AromaTouch supports all of our body systems through the oils that we're using, but also through the way that we apply the oils. So the AromaTouch helps 4 key areas. It helps to, as you can see on your screen here, manage stress, helps to support the immune system, helps to support a healthy inflammatory response, and it helps to maintain homeostasis. And we do that by combining 8 essential oils or blends, and we apply them in a systematic process down the spine and to the bottoms of the feet. And these areas that we apply them are known energy zones. They're visceral points, like reflex points, that correlate to all the different body systems and organs of the body, which is why it affects every organ in your body and makes it a whole body experience. It's really a clinical approach, and it's based in science and based in chemistry. And so therefore, we can really calculate the responses that we expect to achieve. This is what makes it duplicable. This means that every time I use the AromaTouch technique, I can expect results. I can expect it to restore health, to self-select what my body needs because it's adaptive, and I can expect it to help bring my body into that state of homeostasis. So we're going to get into how it works, and I'm going to show you some resources so you can learn it and use it at home. I think one thing that's really important to note is that the best way you guys can use this, if it isn't already self-evident, is as a model of prevention. This means that we don't wait until we're already so out of balance that it's causing disease, or that it's already causing us illness, or that it's already causing our injury. We want to catch things early, right? We want it to be a model of prevention. We want to maintain health. So ideally, it would be best if we can have receive the AromaTouch technique personally at least 2 times per month. Preferably, I would strive for once a week. And if you're really going through some struggles in your life, 2 to 3 times a week would be awesome, you guys, to make such a difference in your life. This is why I would encourage you to not only learn it yourself, but to have your partner or spouse or a friend learn it and trade. Offer to give them an AromaTouch, and you can receive an AromaTouch. Teach your children, whoever you have in your life that would be, you could share this information with and teach them about the importance of homeostasis and trade. So let's talk about the oils that we use in the technique. Remember, I said it focuses on 4 key areas. The first, of course, is stress. We've gone into a lot of talk today already about stress. The oils that are selected in this technique, all 8 of them, are designed to work synergistically. That means that while each oil is an amazing oil as a standalone, when you combine them together, they work together in a unique way in order to provide a more powerful effect as they work together as a whole. That's what synergistically means. So the oils that we're using for stress alone are balance and lavender. And, we just talked about all of the stresses, these different stresses, and the perceptions of what's difficult, the perceptions of what's new or difficult, or these perceived pressure that we have. But it can also come from other things like lack of nutrients or whatever. So, our body can deal with these short-term stresses pretty well. But as we've spent a great deal of time talking about, the long-term stress really, really fatigues and takes a toll on our body. And so this is what we're using balance and lavender for. Next, we go into the next phase of the AromaTouch technique, where we deal with supporting the immune system. And for that, we use the oils of Melaleuca and On Guard. And they're used to deal with toxic insult. And our body is constantly working. When we talk about system constants, these are things that our body is constantly trying to adjust. And our body is constantly working to cope with with this toxic insult. And our world is becoming more and more saturated with toxins and pathogens, and therefore our body is forced to work harder and harder to process and eliminate these threats in order to maintain ideal health. And so that's why Melaleuca and On Guard were selected as this in this phase of the AromaTouch technique in the system. All right, next we have AromaTouch blend and the Deep Blue blend, and these are utilized in the technique for supporting a healthy inflammatory response. So inflammation is an immune response, and it is important to a degree where it is allowing the body or helping the body to fight infection or to repair damaged tissue, and so some inflammation is beneficial because we need it to fight disease or to heal injuries or a broken arm, but chronic inflammation is not okay. And it's really the root cause of a lot of pain that people are dealing with and or disease. And then lastly, we have the oils of orange and peppermint. And these oils are selected to bring the nervous system back into homeostasis and help it to stay in a state of homeostasis. This is what we were talking about with the autonomic nervous system, right? Helping to maintain proper balance within the autonomic nervous system is critical for optimal health. All right, so we're going to talk now about what we're going to do with these 8 oils. So there's 3 objectives. The first is to enhance the oils. The oils, like I said, are doing the heavy hitting. So even just using the oils without the technique, it's going to be really powerful. But by using the technique with it, we are increasing or enhancing the utilization of the oils and enhancing their effect. So first, be confident in the oils. Know that this is an essential oil technique and that the oils are powerful, but also learn to use the technique correctly. Not to a point where you have concern or trepidation and you're not think about my little girl who is 9 years old, who gave me the most powerful AromaTouch technique I've ever received without being perfect. All right. And think about that. Learn the technique, learn it properly, but use it. The most important thing is to use it. Whoops. The second thing is that it stimulates the energy zones. And so this is interesting to me because we know that we can manage body systems through these contact points that we have in our feet, in our ears, in our spine. And this is used and understood in the traditional Chinese medical model all the time. And in the AromaTouch, we work through these visceral points. We also use a lot of repetition and a lot of rhythm in the technique. We're creating a rhythm. And as we repeatedly work through these steps that I'm going to show you in just a minute, what we're doing is with the oils and with the rhythm and with this repetition is we are establishing homeostasis. So the movement with your hands is all really fluid. You never take your hands off the person, the recipient. You're always in contact with them and it feels fluid and constant. One of the common things people say is that I don't know, I felt like you were always almost like you never let go. Like you were always in constant contact, which was very calming. I get that feedback all the time that just that constant connection is very calming in itself. And the rhythm that we're creating and building is critical to what we're developing with balancing the nervous system. The third objective is that the AromaTouch technique helps to reestablish a state of balance and function or homeostasis within the body. So let me give you Walter Bradford Cannon's definition. He's a Harvard neurologist, or was, and he said homeostasis is a condition which may vary, but which is relatively constant. So what he's saying, in other words, is that we're not only in just PNS or SNS. So we're not just in sympathetic nervous system or just in parasympathetic nervous system at any given time. We're in both. It's fluctuating. It's a constant, right? We're talking about these system constants. So it's fluctuating, but we can be more heavily dominant in one or the other. And I kind of think of it like a ship. And if we were all to get on a ship together and we were all to move to one side of the boat, right? Or we'll call it a boat because I don't think we would all fit in a boat very well, so it'll work a little better as an analogy. So if we all kind of got onto one side of the boat, and the boat would sink or it would tip over, right? So it's this balance that starts to happen where we need to kind of be in both sides of the boat, or be balanced on both sides and not dominant in one side or the other. So another way to kind of explain restoring balance is that the AromaTouch can stimulate appropriate physiological responses, which can help to restore proper visceral, neurological, and endocrine functions as it's related to homeostasis. This is probably my favorite quote to sum up everything we've talked about so far. Dr. Hill said, "Health is more than controlling symptoms. It is a dynamic process rooted deeply in prevention. Developing and maintaining homeostasis should be considered the keystone for proactive and preventative models of health." Okay, guys, think about this. Take a screenshot. This is the secret sauce. I really feel like this is what makes the AromaTouch so powerful, is that as we seek to find ways to move our bodies into more of a state of balance and get out of that constant state of SNS dominance, that is where we really are focusing on prevention, and that is the keystone for proactive and preventative models of health. All right, so I'm going to show you this quick picture. Then I'm going to show you where you can go to learn more, and I'm going to show you how you can learn the AromaTouch specifically. So first, know that your regions and zones are divided up like this image you see here, with your zones in your back in alignment in parallel to your spine. So zone number 1 runs along each side of the spine, directly on each side of the spine. Zone 2 is just slightly wider than zone 1. So you have zone 2 on each side, left and right, then zone 3, 4, and 5 as you move across the back. Then in your feet, you have regions and zones. The regions of the feet are the 1, 2, 3. So the 1 being the heel, the 2 being the second region being the arch, the third region being around the ball of the foot, and it does not include the toes. The zones of the feet go from toe to heel, and they are in a straight alignment from your tips of your toes, and include the toes all the way through, straight through the heel. And your big toe, each of your big toes represents zone number 1. Your second toes, zone number 2, and then 3, 4, and 5 moving outward towards your pinky toes. Take a screenshot of that if you need to, or just kind of like have that in your memory. So where you want to go to turn on the videos and watch the step-by-step instructions is under aromatouchtechnique.com. All right. On that website, there are step-by-step videos that if you use this quick reference chart, you can follow the videos and you can start practicing the AromaTouch technique at home now, and you don't even need to take any classes. So when I first learned the AromaTouch technique, this is all I did. Okay, so I got the videos out, I got the step-by-step quick reference guide, and I started saying, I'd look at step number 1, apply the oil, then go over and find the video on how to apply the oil. Then it would be step number 2, and then I'd find the video on how to do that. And I just, it was, I'm not very good at it, obviously, right, at first, but it was learning and watching the video that is how I first learned how to do the AromaTouch. And then from there, I went and did the training. So the training is a lot more in depth. It's actually a 6-hour training. I've spent the last 40 minutes with you talking about it, but the training that you would get into if you do the certification training is 6 hours. So it's much more in depth, and it's all hands-on. So you get to give the technique, receive the technique, and also facilitate while someone else gives the technique. Really super useful. I would start with the videos and start with this handout, but I would also encourage you to also do a class, because there were a lot of things that I, through watching the video, realized I wasn't quite doing it right, or just little tweaks that I was able to learn and make to make it so much better, so much more fluid, and so much more, effective. And finding that rhythm and having the feedback from the instructor was really invaluable. So the way that you can get these resources though to get started is to go to aromatouchtechnique.com. Once you're there on that website, you're going to click on AromaTouch Technique in the top right corner. Under AromaTouch Technique, it says step-by-step instructions. And then you'll go there, and all the videos are right there. So you can follow the quick reference handout that you have on your screen, which you can also download under the same area of the website under resources. You can download this. Then go to the videos and start practicing. Find a partner and start practicing and just starting to get the feel of how to apply the oils, how to layer the oils, and how to do the technique. You guys, it is so powerful and it's so simple, and you can absolutely do this. So the certification training is, these are done all over the world, and they are conducted by certified trainers. We have several on our team. I'm a certified trainer. Andrea is a certified trainer. We have several in our team, but you can also go to any trainer anywhere in the world where trainings are happening. And you can go on that same website on aromatouchtechnique.com, look under the calendar and see if you can find an event in your area. I do events often. I have an event coming up very soon. If you are able to get to one of my events, awesome. If you're not in my local area, it may be possible for myself or for another trainer to come to your area and provide the training, provided there's enough people in attendance. I do sometimes travel to do these certification trainings as well, but there likely is a trainer in your area, so you can always put a group together. The cost of the training for the certification, again, it's a 6-hour training, and it's all hands-on, and it comes with your oils. So it comes with these 8 oils. And the oils alone are worth over $100 just for the oils. The training costs $149. So you're really not paying much for the training. You're paying mostly for the oils. It's a really incredibly good value, and I would highly encourage everyone to do it. Start with the videos and start with getting your feet wet there, but then attend a training and utilize the knowledge and expertise of the trainers to make sure that you're really taking advantage of the full technique. Again, keep the technique pure, keep it simple, keep it as it is, don't change it. It works the way it is, and it doesn't need to be modified in any way. In the training, you'll also learn something called the AromaTouch hand technique, which I'm not going to get into today, but it's basically a way to do the technique on someone's hand. And this is great as a simple, I would say probably not as powerful, but a powerful way to give someone a quick experience, and we do it just with the hand. And this works really well for those who are dealing with like maybe they just can't, there's not time, or maybe they can't lay down on a massage table. There's lots of different reasons, but we can work through the visceral points in the hands to be able to help relax and balance the body as well. And we usually just select one oil when we do a hand technique by asking the person how they're feeling and then choosing a specific oil tailored to them versus doing the 8 oils. You can do it with the 8 oils as well, but a really quick way to help someone have a powerful experience is to choose one oil. So if they're having, if they're looking to elevate their mood, maybe elevation, or if they're dealing with respiratory issues, we could use breathe and then follow the hand technique. All right, so that wraps up all that I have to share with you today. I want to thank you for joining me and thank you for your time. And I hope that you found a lot of value in this and that you're excited to go out, and if you already know the AromaTouch, use it and use it often and receive it often. And if you have not yet experienced it or learned it, go out and learn it. Go out and practice it. So just in real quick recap, you guys already know that you're receiving, and you should be already receiving, your wholesale pricing, which is a 25% discount. You should probably already have a wholesale account. If not, make sure you reach out to me and let me know. But on top of that, you can be receiving up to an additional 30% back in free products through the Loyalty Rewards program. So any of these products that you're learning about that you are interested in purchasing, make sure that you're getting and maximizing and getting them through the most cost-effective way, which is through the loyalty program. And then for those of you who are interested in making a difference in the world, for those of you who like me, like to be part of creating change in the world and helping others with their health, and just really making a big impact, and enjoy empowering and educating others. We're always looking for health coaches, and if you're looking for something that you can do to help others, reach out to me or reach out to the person that invited you to listen to this video and find out more about how you can contribute to the cause of helping those around you in the world to be empowered and educated to take control of their health naturally. There is a great, doTERRA does reward you very well for your efforts, and if you choose to do so, you can even turn that into a part-time or full-time income. And we have ways that we can help you with that, and we also have mentoring available, so just reach out to us and let us know. All right, our next class is going to be class number 8, which is Essential Science, and it's one of my favorites. I hopefully don't say that every week, but it really is. Like, I love learning about the science of essential oils. I know not everybody is a science geek. I've become a little bit of a science geek since I've fallen in love with essential oils, and I love to really understand how and why they work, and so that's what we're going to get into next week. All right, so thank you so much for being with me today. Again, I hope this was valuable. I really appreciate your time. I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here with me today. So have an amazing week, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.